sow. It's a positive seed. Manifestation is based on what you believe. Outcome depends on how the situation perceived. And ain't no limit to what the power of the mind can achieve. Keep it going. Never stop.
What's up, guys? It's your boy Devin. Welcome to another episode of Strive Tribe Podcast. Today, we actually got my boy with us, Gilmore. He's a massage therapist, personal trainer, physical therapist. He works with athletes. You know, I've known him for actually a few years now. And when I actually met him, he was just starting off in the fitness space, is like a gym monitor, you know, picking up weights. And to see his growth to what he is now is amazing. You know, your social media on, you know, all the platforms from TikTok to Instagram to Facebook is just, it's awesome. And that's why, you know, I really wanted to bring you on the show today.
Thank you. Appreciate the love.
So, you know, going into it a little bit, you know, how did you get into fitness?
Well, small backstory. My father, Tony Gilmore, he was a pro bodybuilder for years back in the late 80s, early 90s. So growing up, we always had a full gym in the garage from multiple machines, cardio equipment, the whole nine. And his biggest thing, he was a smaller cat. He was like 5'7", 5'8". I'm 6'4".
Damn, where'd you get your genes from?
My mom, she's like 5'9". She's tall for a girl.
Okay.
So her side of the family. So his biggest thing was, I can't go up, I'm gonna go out. So he learned how to get big and strong and fast to keep up with his friends. So It definitely worked out. And then he shared his knowledge with me. That way, as an athlete playing football for years, I'm stronger going in. I have more knowledge going in than most freshmen do going in and playing high school ball and then college ball and so forth and so forth. So that's where I got started off, in the home garage. And I was just that tall, skinny kid. I hit 6 feet at 12, stopped growing, 100 pounds soaking wet. And so, but I was like, I got to get bigger. So I learned how to diet, how to eat, how to train, learned a lot of that stuff from him. Then went to school to be a personal trainer, got certified, then had to learn how to diet now, which is the hardest part. We can work out all day. Controlling what you put in your mouth for 24 hours, that's always like the challenge. So that's where everything got started, home base, basically.
So I know, like, you know, a little backstory on you too is like, you know, just from following you and knowing you for a while, I know you were in like to the BMX and all that kind of stuff too.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where like fitness or like bodybuilding necessarily wasn't always as key in your life as it is now.
Right.
What was that like turning point for you where you're like, you know what, I'm gonna really start focusing on this?
The reason why I got started in like BMX and, you know, riding for DC shoes and Vans, all that back in the day, is because everywhere I went, I was in the shadows of my father. So I wanted to create like my own name and my own start, but it's difficult, you know, but I just found a love for it. And I've always liked fitness. I've always liked being outside. I was always like that mud kid where let's just go outside and try different stuff. And BMX took off. And then with football, I had to get bigger and stronger. That's kind of where the bodybuilding came in. But still, even then, in my father's shoes, I started powerlifting. Once I got into powerlifting, started making more and more meets and getting stronger and stronger. I had my own name. Then that's a turning point. I was like, you know what? Let's try out this whole bodybuilding thing. Let's give this a go. Way different dynamic from training style to diet to just even mindset. You know, to before I was the powerlifter, aka weightlifter. Bodybuilding, you're sculpting the body now, so your mindset is way different. So I think that was like the biggest turning point for me.
Did you notice, like, when you did make that shift and go into bodybuilding and stuff, like, did some of the advice and some of the things that maybe worked for your dad not work for you? Like, you know?
Yes. Yeah, 100%. Because even though he is like my own bloodline, for example, for him, rice fills him up perfectly. Rice, I hold water. Potatoes is better for me. One of those things. His method of high volume training to put on size doesn't work for me. Heavy training puts on size for me. So small little tidbits like that really, it worked for him, but didn't work for me. It was great knowledge and to add stuff in and supplement other things inside there. But yeah, that was always a challenge too, because you just think, oh, that's Pops. I can do the same thing.
Right.
But everybody's body is literally different, which is crazy.
And I think that's the big thing that, you know, on social media and stuff where people will see influencers and stuff and they're like, you know what, I'm going to follow their routine.
Right.
Even if it is, you know, Arnold's, you know, routine, it's like, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for you.
Yep.
That's the thing that, you know, people get messed up, or all of a sudden they'll do that program or do that plan, you know, that they bought from an influencer or something. And it's a cookie cutter plan and it may or may not work for you. And that's the hard thing. And it could be discouraging when all of a sudden you put, you know, one, money into it, and two, your time and your sweat and your blood and your tears into it. And all of a sudden it doesn't work.
Right.
That's, you know, one thing that, you know, yourself as well as myself know over the years dealing with clients and training clients, everybody is different.
True.
And it's one of those things where you don't have an answer necessarily right when you meet a client.
Right.
And that's the hardest part, because
Trial and error.
When clients come to you and you're like, so how do I do this? And you're like, damn, it could be this or this, you know, and the thing, at least it's worked for me the best is like, you know, honesty. And that's one of those things where I've seen a lot of like, you know, your social media posts and stuff like that. And you are very like honest in your one descriptions or two, like explanations on a lot of things. And even in your mindset stuff, it's like, you know, it's not always easy. It's not always cookie cutter. It's not always this. Like you have to be okay with the ups and downs of bodybuilding, powerlifting, you know, just weight loss in general.
Right, 100%. And I think that diversity makes us stronger trainers and it gives us a lot more knowledge. Like a lot of times in my workout videos and workouts that I post out are for taller, longer people.
Right.
So like, for example, if I'm doing a chest supported dumbbell row, it's not great for a guy with short arms. Right. He can't get that full contraction on the way back. Me with a longer reach, I have more of a stretch on there. I'm already in a position to actually do that. But like you said, having that communication with your clients, friends, whoever it may be, and let them know, hey, this normally works. We're going to try this out and see how it fits in your body type and then go from there. You know, but that communication is everything. That way nobody's let down. There's no heavy expectations, but they at least have an understanding of what the goal is and how we're trying to get there.
Right. And I think one of the biggest things too that I've noticed with you over the years too, that I took the same kind of route was that you take clients knowing like whether you've worked with that kind of client or not. And it's one of those things where like you're honest with the clients in the sense of saying, hey, I've never dealt with a client like, you know, this or whatever their condition is. But let's figure it out. Like, I got you. I will figure it out, you know? And like, that's why, you know, I've always had a crazy busy schedule when I was personal training because, you know, I would take a client with Parkinson's. And the first time a client came up to me, like, you know, can you train my dad? You know, he has Parkinson's. I was like, oh yeah, definitely. Literally went home, started Googling, like, you know,
the research,
like, you know, and then I did the research behind it. But I think a lot of trainers, you know, or, you know, trainers that are just getting into it, it's like, oh, I only want to, you know, deal with, you know, women or men that are trying to lose weight, or I only want to deal with, you know, people that want to do shows. And it's like, yeah, but now you're limiting so much, one, knowledge, two, your client potential, you know, that it's crazy. So, I mean, kudos for you, because I've seen the variety of clients that you've taken over the years. And I mean, I kind of want to go into like where you are now. Like, you started off in personal training from like bodybuilding and, you know, doing shows and stuff. And I know you were working at like, you know, Vitamin Shop and stuff. And now you not only are you a personal trainer, you're a physical therapist, you're a massage specialist, as well as like cupping and all that kind of stuff, muscle scraping. So what allowed you or what made you want to get into the other realms of fitness and health and stuff?
I guess because I wanted to be a one-stop shop. That is like the biggest thing, because my always thing is always about growth. Every year I hate being the guy in the same spot I was last year. There's no growth inside there. You know, me, I just now started a family, just now had my first kid about 11 weeks ago, Lorenzo. It's a blessing, but I'm always thinking about the future. So years ago, I was like, this is going great now, but in 10 years, where should I be at? Where can I be at? So I started talking to all of my trainers who I looked up to, all the mentors, like, how'd you get to here? What are the points to get to there? And that's what made me go into physical therapy. So, you know, I spoke to the wife and I was like, hey, I'm thinking about going back to school for massage therapy and physical therapy. She's like, go for it. I think it's a great idea. We're the trainer. We know what hurts. We're the one we're the one stretching out the muscle. But now they can come back to me a couple of days later. I need to get this massage or this looked at, this fixed. Now it makes you a one-stop shop. Now it makes you a more of a value in that client's life. 100%. And the more value that you can add, the more clients that you can actually retain for a longer period of time. Because once that client hits that goal, and I know, speaking for myself and probably for you too, you want to hit your client's goals within that 3 to 6 month range. Afterwards, they have the knowledge of weight gain, weight loss, muscle, nutrition, the whole nine. If they would like to stay with you, by all means. But now you get that next transformation, help out the next person and give more knowledge. And I feel like that's the hardest part with today is the wealth of knowledge, not the wealth of money, but how do I get to like this step? So that's why I started those avenues, just to be more diverse and add more value in people's lives, as well as to myself and to my family.
No, definitely. And I think that's huge. Like what you just said about like, you know, the growth of knowledge. So many people get stuck on where they're at. They're like, you know, I passed my test. I'm a personal trainer now. And it's like, people don't realize that test is like the first freshman year of college level classes.
Bare minimum.
You know, like
those are all your G's.
Exactly. Like, you know, it's like, you can get the same knowledge from watching, you know, 90s bodybuilding videos.
Or YouTube. Exactly. Yeah, unfortunately now.
But that doesn't make you a qualified trainer. And honestly, like even when we hire trainers here, even when I was in the past being a manager at gyms, I didn't go off people's certifications. Because you can only have one certification, but you can have the knowledge that, let's say, you or I have by just learning it yourself, in the sense of, books, YouTube, all that kind of stuff. That's the people I want, is the people that take that extra step and go learn more. And it's one of those things where people are like, it's so much information. There's so many different things out there. It's almost like I'm being overloaded with information. Yeah. And it's like, I just feel like your action is being underloaded.
Sometimes, yes.
So it's one of those things where you've taken action on those things. Like, you're like, you know what? I thought about me going back to school for this. Boom. You didn't just think about it, you did it.
Yeah. Because once you ponder on it for too long, then all the doubts, all the worries. Do I have time? Can I afford it? If you know what the next step is, pull that trigger.
Right.
I know with me, and this is how I live my life, I don't have a plan B.
Right.
I promise you, the human body is so strong. People don't understand. People don't appreciate it. If you're backed up against the wall, if you want to take the island, burn the boats.
Yep.
I promise you, there's so much stuff that people can really do if they have the mentality is, I can't go back, I must go forward. So whatever it is that is in front of you, you're going to take it head on.
Right.
And I promise you, you'll get through it. It may be uphill battle, maybe a long battle, but eventually you're going to win that war.
Right.
But you have to have the mentality. If you want to take the island, burn the boats.
100%.
Burn the boats. Because if you have the option to flee, 9 out of 10, it's that little voice in the back of your head saying you don't have it.
Yep.
But you got to stop listening to yourself and start talking to yourself and telling yourself, we're going to do this. There's no negotiation. This is what's going to take. Now it's time for us to go. So I just kind of pulled the trigger, and that's kind of how I live my life now, where I don't have a plan B. Whatever I set my mind to and what I need to get done is going to happen. It may take a little longer than most.
Yeah.
Not the smartest guy, but you make it work.
No,
you make it work.
And honestly, that's one of the reasons, like, just that piece right there. Like, that's why I really wanted to have you on the show too, is because we have the same mentality.
Yeah.
Right? When I first went independent and made my own personal training company, because it was like the second or third time I got in trouble in the gym, for working for someone else. Even though I was the highest producer in the gym, was like, I got in trouble for not doing it their way, reading it their scripts. But I was like, dude, like, it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm getting what you want, just doing it, or saying it a different way. But then I'm the kind of person that sometimes I just react in the sense of, like, I'm going to make a decision, go for it. Because again, just like you said, I don't let time for doubt and stuff, because there's always going to be what ifs.
Oh, 100%.
Like, and if you sit too long and think about it, your what ifs will overpower your, like, what could be's.
Right.
So my thing was, like, I quit. I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm done. And then I literally called Gabby, who's now my wife, and I was like, hey, I'm working for myself now. She said, what do you mean? And then she said, so what if it doesn't work? I was like, I will literally stand out in front of the grocery store and sell personal training for myself before I go back to work for someone else. I can't do it anymore.
Yep.
And then she was just like, okay. And then literally it's been the same thing. There's no time for what ifs. You just take action. You keep going forward.
Right.
Using a Disney reference, just because my daughter, who's not that much older than yours, right now she's on Frozen. Right?
Gotcha.
Right?
Okay.
It's been Moana, it's been Encanto, and now it's Frozen.
Gotcha.
And in Frozen, literally, it's the same mindset. There's one saying: it's when you don't see the next path, or you don't know the next path, the next thing to do is just take the next right step.
Yep.
Right. So a little Frozen Disney quote, but
Hey, my daughter's 10. I definitely understand that, and that is the biggest thing right there, because we get stuck on, I can't see the full picture.
Right.
I can't see 5 years from now. But if you can see that next step in front of you, just take that. Start there. We get lost in the next day. The next day has its own anxieties. Focus on today.
Right.
And if you can just do that, I promise you, win the day. Did I get all my meals in today? Did I work out today? Did I do a good job at work? How did I treat people? If you can just win the day, over time, you won the week, then you won the month, then you won the year. You look up now, you're at your destination.
Exactly.
That journey is what builds you. The destination, it's going to happen.
Right.
It's going to happen. You're going to keep on hitting goals. It's going to happen. But build yourself in that journey. Just win the day.
Exactly.
Just win that day.
100%.
You get there.
So, I mean, that's honestly, like, your mindset and stuff. Like, we're very alike in that. Tying back into, like, the fitness, what's your favorite thing to do right now? Or what's your, like, is it the personal training? Is it the physical therapy? Is it the cupping, massaging? Like, what is if you had to pick one of those, what is your favorite thing to do? And then a second question, what do you think is the most beneficial, like, between, like, cupping, massaging, scraping, all that stuff?
I'm gonna catch a lot of backlash for this. Even though I started off as a trainer and I love training clients because I like changing lives. I love building bodies. I love giving confidence. But right now, my favorite would have to be massage therapy. Massage therapy and all forms of sports, the sweetest, through tissue, cupping, scraping, adjustments, physical therapy, just because nobody wants to kill you halfway through the session. You know, when you're putting on a good leg day, a good circuit training, people are like, Coach, how many more? Are you sure? This and that. Massage therapy, they're enjoying it the entire time. Yeah, they may be a little bit sore. I'm just when that hurts, whatever. But
You
massage
can't
therapy.
tell me that no one wants to kill you when you're scraping them out.
Yeah, you guys
Like, bro, I've been scraped out.
Yeah,
That shit hurts.
it's very aggressive, very aggressive, and I love it because I have like these massive pro bodybuilders, you know, just dense muscle. Give me your worst, and I'm like, okay, but when you get an elbow going through your lats and trying to separate the lats a little bit wider, you just hear groaning and screaming. I'm like, you said no, back up some. I got you staying there. You're right. So I do have those clients too, but most like majority of the time, it's always a blast, man. And then to go on your second part question, I would say right now, what I'm really working on or really trying to focus on is just more personal growth right now. And how can I really just like give back, honestly? Because I have a lot of like young trainers who I talk to, I meet at different gyms and like, hey, you're doing great right now with massage therapy. How'd you get started? I was like, just trying to give the wealth of knowledge, man. That's
Right.
it. Just trying to, because I know once I give it out, I'm gonna get it back tenfold. It's only a matter of time. And you have to give without expectations. You have
100%.
to have the mentality of always having a helping hand.
Right.
People I don't even know, but they're like, hey, I've been following you for a while, and I met them at the gym. Perfect. Let me follow you right back. I had no idea what's going on. You know, those type of conversations can really make somebody's day.
100%.
That's why, like on my social media, Monday through Friday during the week, I always start the day with like a morning message. The world is crazy right now. The weather is insane. We're going through ups and downs. We just not got out of COVID, and we're kind of out, but kind of not. You know, start off with a little bit of positivity. You know, it can really change somebody's day. They could be going through it. You never know.
Right. And I mean, as a trainer too, I mean, I do the same thing, and sometimes it's taken well and sometimes it's not.
But yeah.
But like, you know, if I'm in the gym or I'm lifting, you know, especially not in here, but like at let's say, you know, corporate gym or something,
Yeah.
you know, I'll go up to someone I can see is clearly doing something wrong. We're about to injure themselves. And sometimes they're willing to take it, or sometimes their macho-ness comes out,
Yeah.
you know, and either way, I'm like, all right, man, just trying to help you out. Like, I
Yeah.
can care less, you know, like I was just trying to be that guy that was cool, you know, but I'm not doing it with the intent of, hey, you know, let me help you. Hey, I can sign you up for personal training.
No.
Because people can read that. But
Yeah.
if you start to, you know, just help people out and not expect anything in return, it does come back some way or another. You know, the universe does work that way. You know,
Oh,
karma
most definitely.
is definitely a real thing for sure.
And I think a lot of that stuff too is all like the new gyms that you see popping up more and more. Like, for example, Gold's Gym Northridge. Like, it's a lot of like young kids there, and you see them. They want to lift the world, but I can't say anything because I was that same young kid. Let's just bench every day.
Right.
Your shoulders, everything is going out. There's no warm up. Just add a bunch of heavy weight. We'll spot you. So if you can just try to give back to those kids and show them the game so they don't have our injuries that we do now in our 30s and trying to recover from that, that can really change that athlete because you don't know what they're going to turn into. Or you see them posing and they're like this, just, hey, not to get in your business or anything, but if you want to just open up, pitch here and move this way, that kind of stuff is crazy. But like you said, it can be received as, excuse me, or thank you, I really appreciate it. So, but either day, I'm still going to be a good person. I'm still going to try to give back as much as I can and go off of that.
Yeah, I mean, it goes into like also like now just thinking back on it, like when I helped Nick, actually, I didn't charge him. I didn't do anything for his bodybuilding show.
Yeah.
It was one of those things. He didn't need me standing there, you know, telling him what to do, you know, push himself. I knew he was already going to do that. I've seen him lift, but he was like, hey, I need direction. I was like, you know, I got you. I haven't coached anyone for, you know, a physique show. I'm going to experiment out on you. And, you know, if you're down. And he was more than willing because everyone else that he asked for help turned him down or was like, you know, I'll pay, you know, pay me $500, $600 for, you know, the first month. And then he was like, he didn't have that kind of money like that. So
it adds up quick.
Yeah, 100%. And I get it. But I was one of those things where I had clients. I was full. I couldn't take him as an actual client.
Right.
But I was like, you know what? Like, I'm down to help you. And now look at how it's returned.
Yeah.
And now, you know, we became business partners and, you know, he joined
this.
Yeah, he joined my vision and now it's our vision. And now we're starting to franchise the company. But like, that was only because I was willing to help without expecting anything in return.
Right.
You know, and now it folded out this way. So it's one of those things where, again, like you are one of those people that have, you know, you're very approachable and you do approach people too, you know, just from knowing when we did work together and stuff too. But like, minding your connection, it was one of those things where we've lifted together. You know,
Yeah.
you asked for advice back in the day.
Oh,
you know, and it's one of those
great.
things where
Best shoulder workout I ever had using 10-pound dumbbells. It still humbles me to this day.
but it was one of those things where, I mean, like this connection, like, you know, we haven't talked in a little while.
Yeah.
You know, and that reach out was all because, you know, when you asked, or, you know, when we talked, there was nothing that was.
It wasn't even a question. I was like, sure, just let me know when.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me know. I'll schedule it out. Let me know when.
Yeah.
That's it. Because, like I said, you did give me a lot of knowledge in the beginning because I loved your physique. And at that time, I think you were on a bulk bench. You're getting bigger and bigger. I'm like, but I never saw you use heavy weights. You're not a heavy lifter type of guy. And I was like, what am I doing wrong? You know, and small little movements on, for example, on the bench over rear delt flies. Instead of going here, just pitch back a little bit, try it out. If you don't want to, don't worry about it. And I tried it, the nastiest pump I ever had to this day, and that was over a decade ago.
Yeah.
08, 09, something like that. I don't know. It's been a while. It's been a while. But yeah, so like stuff like that, man, it stays with you. Just being a genuine person just stays with you. We knew of each other because we both worked there. You were a trainer. I was a gym monitor, just re-racking weights. How about the front desk or the locker room, whatever. And you're like, hey, go try this out for a second. Just, you know, I saw you on shoulder. Try this out. That goes a long way. People don't understand that. People are like, well, I should get paid for what I know. You will. I promise you. But those small little tidbits, that little 30 seconds did not impact your day at all.
Right. Yeah. And it's one of those things where, like, but it could make that day for someone that you don't know. You know, they could be having the worst day of their year, and you going out of your way to, you know, correct their form or to tell them, you know, hey man, like I've seen your transformation so far. Like it's amazing. Keep it up.
Right.
Those little things you don't realize have such a big impact on other people's lives where it may not even have an impact on your life, and it takes nothing to do it.
Right.
You know, as well as like for me, I always did it just because it took no time, and it'd be like I'd be walking from one client to the next client, or you know, re-whacking my client's weights, and then seeing something, mention something, and then keep going. And whether that person or someone near saw it, that next person would come up to me like, hey, I got a question. No problem. What's up? You know, and it takes 2 seconds, and that always just built a referral system for myself.
Oh, 100%.
But I mean, it's one of those things where you don't always have to, just because you know something doesn't mean you need to charge for it. If you're just, like, I just love fitness. I know you love fitness.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where, you know, sometimes it is just about giving back, you know?
And I think the one thing that has really had me stay close to you for years, I've never seen you out of shape, even though we, in our own mentality, we have our own out of shape, in shape, and I totally get that. I've never seen you off. I've never seen you, even like when I'm bulking, I'm kind of fat right now. I'm like, still kind of got abs, you know, it's still always been in shape. So, and that's always been an inspiration to me because as a trainer, as somebody in the fitness world, you are your own calling card.
100%.
If you have a stomach, I'm not going to go to you be like, how do I lose? Never mind. I'm not going to go to you if you're not built the way I envision myself. You know what I mean? You've always had a solid physique. You've never been a massive guy, but you always had a solid physique, one I aspire to, where I'll see you squatting 3 plates and I'll see you rowing, 2,000 meters. I'm like, I couldn't do that if I wanted to. You know what I mean? So having that kind of balance of strength, plus the endurance, plus the hit, and still having a great mentality, I'm like, I'm exhausted. And he's like, that was crazy, great workout. I'm like, no, it wasn't. That sounds terrible, sir. But your mentality, that's what made me stick around for a while. Even though we don't want to talk all the time, your mentality was always a big part of you.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it.
No worries, bro.
So you tying it back, like going into, your massaging, your cupping, I have a question for it. I know clients, myself personally, I know it's beneficial, but I haven't done it myself. One, honestly, it's just because of time.
Oh, I get that. Yeah.
But do you think that a lot more clients do the massaging, or like whether you do a blend of it all, but like, do they ask for massaging? Do they ask for cupping? Do they ask for scraping? And
well, it really based upon the client. I have a lot of clients who haven't done it at all, and they just want to try it out. There's so much benefits behind scraping/grafting and then cupping. Just the benefits of over time and training, whether you're beginning working out or experienced working out, you build up so much hard fascia, so much scar tissue that if it's not scraped out, now it hinders your actual muscle mobility, function, and actual mobility of the muscle itself. And a lot of times we have poor circulation throughout our body. So that cupping really helps on top of that. Deep tissuing is great. It definitely does wonders. But I can only deep tissue so much. I have to scrape away a lot of the hard scar tissue, a lot of the fascia. So I have a lot of clients who experience it once, and now that's all that they want. They want a mixture of all three.
Okay.
And I charge the same for deep tissue. You can add on cupping and scraping. It's not an extra fee because your 60 or 90 minutes is your 60 or 90 minutes. We can talk the entire time. That's on you. You know what I mean? But I like to do it that way. A lot of other therapists out there who like, you should charge a premium for that. And it's not really me because I have the volume of clients and I want to give value.
Right.
My main goal is always to give value.
Right.
I need the money to feed my family and live and all that stuff, but it's not the most important thing. When your main importance is the money, that's where your mind is always at, and then you can't grow that way.
100%.
I know I've thrown in company and scraping on different clients. Like, hey, let's just try it out today. The tips that I get behind that, and even bigger, the referrals I get from that.
That's a huge one.
It's just because like the tips are great, but having more and more clients now, you know, and then getting bigger clients and bigger clients, just like you being a decent human being.
Yeah.
You know, hey, I started 2 minutes late. Don't worry about it. We'll still get 6. I still have time to give you the same amount of time. You know, whatever. So that kind of stuff goes a long way. But I would say right now, it's a mixture of everything. The clients like it all. A lot of girls don't like cupping during summertime. It leaves a red mark. So it's not the best looking in bikini season. Other than that,
octopus attacked you.
Yeah, exactly. But other than that, everybody kind of loves it, and they love the benefits more than anything.
What was your hardest thing starting off as, you know, when you started, obviously as a personal trainer, because that's the first start of it. You know, what was your hardest thing for someone that's just becoming a personal trainer or, you know, getting into the fitness game?
The hardest part is knowing who you are. This is Los Angeles. There's a million trainers out there. Some who should be arrested immediately. We see the videos. But the hard part is just getting knowledge about you. So going to different gyms. This is why I have multiple gym memberships. People see the way that we train, the way our mindset is, how we're focused. And they're like, who is this cat? Why is he training? So what are you training for?
Right.
That right there, referral. The other hard part was, how do you price things out? I'm a new trainer. I'm kind of nervous. I don't know. I don't have many transformations, blase, whatever it may be. Having that confidence in yourself is hard to develop until you get that first transformation, or you help out that one person, or you fix the injury, whatever it may be. So I think that's the hardest part. One, getting the knowledge of who you are. And two, getting the self-confidence as a trainer. You know, we're certified, of course, but piece of paper doesn't mean anything if you can't apply it to like your client.
Right.
And to pick off of what you said earlier, we have clients that range vastly. Mm-hmm. My youngest client is 10 years old. My oldest is 83 years old.
Exactly.
You know, I have a client, he has a C5 and C6 fused. His whole left side is kind of paralyzed from a car accident. I train him differently than I would the 21-year-old who's a college athlete.
Right.
Having that diversity and trying to get that diversity is everything. And I hate to say it, but social media really changed the game for me about training, just because of now, click a button, anybody in the world can see who you are. But the hard part is the volume behind that, what it takes to really do your homework on a workout, put it together, write everything down, and now you're just giving out more free information.
Right.
But of the benefit of, you get the clients down the road. So you have to hustle in the beginning. You have to work hard. And then once you get clients, now your hustle is just different. Still a hustle.
Right.
How do you maintain that client? How do you really add value to that client? And how do you get more clients from that client? You know, just having a different mindset of, it's always going to be a hustle. Just your hustle changes.
Yeah.
You know?
I think that's one thing you've been good at too, is like your social media. Like honestly, I haven't really hopped on social media like this, that I currently am.
Yeah.
It's since the last like year. And I think that was more tied to like the business itself.
Right.
But before that, with my, you know, decade in fitness, I was not really posting about clients. I was not doing anything. But I think it did allow me to find out how to do things almost the hard way, because I needed to build a referral system. I needed to build all those things. And I think that one thing I was able to do, and I kind of reversed it with new trainers coming on, or people that, you know, were getting into the fitness industry. But I asked everybody. And if, you know, some trainers are dicks and they, you know, they don't want to tell you their pricing and stuff like that. I'm like, yo, I'm just trying to figure out my pricing. How does this work? Yeah. You know, and some people will tell you, and then you can kind of ballpark how everyone does it. But when I knew people were getting into fitness and stuff like that, for me personally, like I would refer a client because I was always pretty full. I'd be like, hey, like, do you have a spot at this time? You know, I got a client that wants to, you know, sign up. I just don't have time. And then I'm like, but before I give them to you, how much do you charge? Yeah. And then, because I knew that they weren't charging enough, because I knew they're just getting in the game. And I was like, okay, well, I'm sending them to you. I already gave them my pricing. This is my pricing. I'll text it to you so that you use my pricing with this client. If you don't want to charge everyone else that, I don't care. Yeah. But just so that, you know, your client is going to be paid, you're going to be paid just like I get paid. Right. And all of a sudden they're like, oh, I'm just going to use this price from now on. I'm like, go for it.
100%.
You know? And it's one of those things where, as a new trainer, I think that, you know, you got to make sure you don't have to be the top dog in the gym.
No.
Like, and having that mindset and that closed offness will allow you to, it will almost stunt your growth, you know, in the beginning, especially. So it's huge that, you know, one, you've taken the initiative to go out of your way to, you know, ask different trainers and stuff, but also, you know, you've been on social media, and it's one of those things where I know now too, like when I first started recording myself, I was like, dude, this
awkward.
It's so awkward.
It's awkward. You're like, I'm just talking to a camera. I don't know what I'm doing. Who's going to really see this? Do they really care?
Exactly.
But once again, you never let that doubt build up. You just pulled the trigger and you just got it done, which I really admire.
And it's one, I mean, same thing for you too, but I think one of the nerve-wracking things is it's not like, oh, my clients are going to see this. It's like all your friends that are following you on social media, like, dude, like they're going to be like, you know, what are you doing? Why are you posting this?
This is corny.
And then it gets to that mindset. You do it once, you do it twice, and then you're like, you know what? Unfollow me. I don't care.
This is my business. What I do now.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, then it becomes like, oh, that's just what he does. That's what she does. So getting over that mindset or that mental like hurdle of, well, what are they going to think of me? It's like, what are they going to think of you if you don't do it? No one's going to know you, so who cares?
And see, that's the craziest part, because in the beginning, before I started the whole morning message about 4 years ago, I would have my friends walk up to me. We're going out somewhere tonight. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm like, you guys are hilarious. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Let's keep on moving forward. I was like, but now I have friends where if I'm late past 6 a.m., I normally post it, I'll get a text at 6:30. Hey, man, what's going on with the morning message?
Yeah.
The same guy that was making fun of me 4 years ago, now he uses it every single day.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And see, when you don't post, you don't realize who you could be missing. Because I've gotten clients off social media, big corporate clients who are millionaire clients. I was scrolling through, I don't know how you came on my search feed. Man, now you have that type of network.
Yeah.
You have that type of following. So if you were afraid to post that because it was a new workout or it wasn't like your normal style of what you normally post, you would have gotten that client. You know, so I would say never be afraid to post whatever you feel is comfortable, whatever you feel is necessary, within reason, of course. But don't be afraid of the comments or the backlash, what other people think, because you don't know what you could be missing out of. I don't mind failing. Me not trying, I can't live with that, because the price of failure weighs ounces. The price of regret weighs tons.
100%.
I promise you, because a failure is not a failure. Only if you give up, you just stop. You keep on going, it's never a loss. It's just, okay, that way didn't work. There's 10 ways to actually skin a cat. I'm already down 2. That means I'm already 8 more away. You can get there. It's just timing and mindset.
What's the best advice that you've gotten personally in your fitness, you know, career or in your own personal fitness journey? You know, what's like a one-liner hitter? And then what's their worst advice as well?
Best advice I got in the fitness world would be, it's that simple. Best advice I got is that simple. And I was like, what are you talking about? Is that simple? What you're trying to do is that simple. Don't overthink it. I was like, I don't understand. You're trying to lose weight, right? So what do you need to actually lose weight? Caloric deficit, do cardio, good diet. It's that simple. You just told me.
Yeah.
It's that simple. A lot of times we have these big goals that scare us, that frighten us, but it's really that simple. If you just keep on going, you're going to get there. I promise you. The worst advice I ever got was...
Worst advice or worst, like, hurdle or anything that, you know, has either you've taken to heart or basically, you know, made you think about what you're doing like twice?
I had a pro bodybuilder. I'm not going to say his name. I had a pro bodybuilder who I looked up to. Saw him at the gym a couple times a week. Really nice guy. He told me, and he told me I was always in between sets. I was doing skipping rope and, you know, trying to get leaner and leaner and put on strength still. He's like, you can't do both naturally. You can't be strong and fit naturally. If you're not taking running gear and steroids, you cannot do it. And I took that to heart because I looked up to him.
Right.
Followed him for years, asked him for advice. I was like, how do I get there? And he was like, all right, kid, I'm going to sit you down and talk to you. Without drugs, you can't do it. And it kind of crushed me because my father went on natural for years, made a great career for himself. Me, small backstory, I had 2 heart attacks at 19, generic. Had abs, 7% body fat, playing college ball, collapsed after practice one day, sitting in my dorm room. Just have leaky valves and then a deformed valve, so blood doesn't always flow right, stress and stuff. So I can't run steroids even like I wanted to, you know, and I knew that. So I just knew on a bodybuilding prep, everybody does it in 12 to 14 weeks. For me, it takes me 20 to 24 weeks for a prep. little bit longer. I still get there.
Right.
I'm still on stage next to you guys, but you guys got to chill for an extra 8 to 10 weeks.
Right.
So that was worst advice I ever got. So now I now have the mindset of I never let anybody tell me no. I never let anybody tell me no. I let them tell me what they want to, and I'm like, cool, how do I go around that?
Right.
What's the next step? How do we get past this hurdle? I don't mind the uphill battle. I'm used to that since birth. And I think that's what makes me a strong person, because when you're used to always going without, you find a way to have. You find a way to make something work for you.
Right.
You figure it out.
100%. That's
you figure it out. So the worst advice I've ever got, and stepped on stage, and he retired before I can even compete up against him. But I was always praying for that day I can step on stage next to him, get that first place, look at him walk off stage.
Yeah. Damn. That's deep though.
Yeah.
Where can people follow you on, social? What's the best place if someone wanted to reach out to you, whether for services or, just to ask?
Instagram is real easy. It's Gilmore_strength. Should pop up right away. Send me a DM, send me a message. I'm always around my phone's always on me. Unless I'm doing a massage, then it's not on me. But that, yeah, Gilmore_strength is my Instagram. I've been trainer now for 10 years. 11 years, like that. Been doing massage therapy the last 4.5, 5 years. So, I've been in the game a little while. From high school athletes to pro athletes to everyday people. The youngest kid I take is like 10. Oldest guy's 83. So, I'm kind of open.
Definitely. I'll put your link and everything in the show notes, so that if you do want to follow him, honestly, whether it's just to get like cupping or, to get PT or anything like that, if you're not into that stuff, like his daily motivation stuff is something that you should follow anyways, because honestly, like I watch it as well. So, I look up to you as well. I mean, you are, motivational to see your growth now and to see you to continue to grow on top of, being a dad is like myself. I know it's a different game.
Dad life is not for the weak. I think that's my hardest challenge in fitness.
Oh, 100%.
Because some days after dealing with wife and kids, and you just want to sit down after a long day. I'm pretty sure like you're here most of the day or running out different marketing meetings and whatever. End of the day, after a 12, 14-hour day, you just want to sit down. But you got to eat, go to the gym, stay fit, stay in that mindset, because it's so easy to get lax.
Yeah.
And you want to spend more time with your kids too, but you still have a reputation to uphold. So it's all about that balance. And I think the biggest blessing was having my kids, man, because now I have a lot more patience for difficult clients.
Yep.
And they are around sometimes, not as a walk in the park. And it gives you a better mindset of just different mentality, man. So it is definitely a blessing. But the hardest part of fitness, every day. It's just that everyday grind, man. Everyday grind.
Everyday battle for everybody.
But it becomes second nature, and going to the gym now just like what you do. Just like, cool, I'm off work today, it's Sunday. I'm gonna go do a little bit active rest day, a little run, a little hike. You always find yourself in fitness. This is just who we are now. People are like, I just don't see how you can work out every day. I was like, it's just kind of like brush my teeth. You don't think about it, you just do it.
Yeah.
Over time, it gets that way for most people, but it just takes a little time.
100%.
No process.
So Gilmore Strength, follow him on Instagram or Facebook. Mm-hmm. And thanks for listening in. Thanks for being on the show, bro.
Pleasure, man. Thank you again. I appreciate it. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.